Tucson, Arizona, the site for preseason Major League Soccer 2013. Tonight from the Kino Sports Complex, it's the Houston Dynamo and the Colorado Rapids as the Desert Friendlies continue right here on MLSsoccer.com. Good evening, everybody. Jonathan Yardley with you alongside Matthew Doyle from MLSsoccer.com. A good one today, Houston and Colorado. Both teams already in action. Matt, you saw them on Tuesday. Who stood out for both teams?
Well, I think what stood out more was where they are in terms of their preparation. The two teams have different stakes happening next month. Of course, Houston, CCL will worry about regular season. Colorado still trying to figure out who they are, if they can play that 4-3-3 that Oscar Pareja wants. We
get a little helicopter flyover for preseason action as we get set to turn to the starting lineups. And we start with the Colorado Rapids. You talked about Oscar Pareja wanting to play that 4-3-3. And we are going to see it today. We'll probably see two groups, one in each half. The first half, Stuart Sayus, the backup goalkeeper, will start in net. Wynn, Moore, Calderon, and Kindle at the back. Hendry Thomas, Pablo Mastroeni, Kamani Hill in the middle. Up front, Atiba Harris wide right. The rookie Deshaun Brown in the middle. Tony Cassio on the left. Matt, what stands out to you from this group?
Well, I think the big thing is Kamani Hill in an audition for Martin Rivero's role. Rivero suffered a broken foot, fifth metatarsal on Tuesday against the Timbers. He's out of action for 2 to 3 months. They need someone to take that creator spot. Hill, interestingly, played as a center forward in that game, looked very comfortable there. Maybe he can play as a midfielder too. Oscar Pareja is going to want to find out sometime over the next couple of weeks.
We flip to the Houston Dynamo starting lineup, and this is one where Houston, we're always not sure if it's a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3. We're told this is a 4-3-3. Tally Hall is here. He flew in today. We'll tell you more about that later. Warren Creval, Eric Bruner, Taylor, and Shabala at the back. Moffitt, Camargo, and Alex Dixon in the center of midfield. The forward line, Songo on the right. Portland still has his rights, but the Dynamo are looking at him. Callum Elliott, Scottish trialist up front. Jason Johnson, the rookie, at left wing. Matt, what stands out from this group?
Well, Songo needs to impress. He's a guy who, as you said, Portland still has his rights, so the Dynamo would have to trade for him. And it's worth noting that Oscar Boniek Garcia is going to miss some time with Houston this year. Gold Cup, World Cup qualifying, so they need a solid right-sided option to back him up. Could be Frank Songo. He's playing for that contract.
So we are just about set to go here after giving you the look at both lineups. Houston and Colorado matching 4-3-3s. And again, it is still very early in the preseason. We expect to see probably different 11s all the way through both lineups in the second half today. Both these teams will be in action again on Saturday. We'll have that for you. We're having preseason coverage from Tucson all the way through Tuesday here on MLSsoccer.com. And, of course, tomorrow night we'll have Portland and Kansas City. But today it's Houston and Colorado, two teams with a lot of history against each other. But last year they didn't really play a meaningful game. They played at the end of the regular season, and Houston had already clinched a playoff spot and played reserves in that one, a 2-0 Colorado win, their only meeting last season. Cool night as the sun sets here in Tucson. Long sleeves, the order of the day, not what you expect. But we are underway from Tucson with Houston in the white jerseys, the familiar white, orange, and white going left to right in this first half. Colorado in all maroon going right to left. And right away, Colorado with it. That was Hendry Thomas on the ball. Working it through the midfield. Alex Dixon trying to break it up for Houston. And it falls to Bruner at the back. Crunching tackle there. Mastroeni now. And Colorado will settle it down on the right with Atiba Harris. Long cross looking for Cassio. And it's broken up by Warren Creval starting at right back, but he gives it right back to the Rapids.
It's good pressure early from the Rapids, getting right on top of Houston, not letting him play, and on cue.
The jinx goes every time as Callum Elliott broke that one up. Houston moves it quickly wide to Jason Johnson, the rookie out of VCU. Cutting inside under pressure from Marvell Wynn. Trying to find Callum Elliott, top of the box. Fires, scores for Houston. 1 minute in, Jason Johnson sets up Callum Elliott. And that's a cracking start to this one.
It really was. It's what the trialist really needs to show because he's a big guy, is Callum Elliott, in the mold of a Brian Ching, a Cam Weaver, even a Will Bruin. So you got to make yourself stand out. Finding that is the way to do it. Also, Jason Johnson looking very good, cutting in from the left, holding off a defender and making a play.
Yeah, Johnson electing to cut inside there. He is left-footed, and so you would expect him to like that wide spot. Didn't impress in the combine playing wide on the left, but that's certainly one place Houston wants to use him. That time got inside and found Elliott, who's off to a great start in this one. Long ball here, Bruner battling and got enough of the ball to get it back to Tally Hall. And again, we told you Hall and the other Dynamo players who were in national team camp were supposed to be given a week off, but Houston's backup goalkeeper, Tyler Derrick, sprained his left wrist in training. And rather than make Eric Marscheider, the third-string goalkeeper, take every rep, they flew Tally Hall in, and he gets the start tonight. Brad Davis and Will Bruin, meanwhile, stay back in Houston. Just underway, third minute, Houston in front, 1-0. It's not a misprint if you're just joining us. Callum Elliott scoring from the top of the penalty area about 1 minute in.
And you can see Johnson picking up the ball wide left again. This does look like a true 4-3-3 from Dom Kinnear. We thought he was gaming it a little bit. Maybe it was a 4-4-2.
Dominic Kinnear loves to tease certain reporters who ask him about his formations. He doesn't care too much about what you call it. A lot more worried about what's going on out there, but he likes having the three in the middle today, especially against a Colorado team that's doing the same thing. Rapids with it at the back right now. That's Diego Calderon, one of their key signings, expected to be a regular in the back line. And that one given away by Cassio, picked off by Adam Moffitt. Bruner under some pressure there and a rough tackle. And Harris whistled for the foul, and Eric Bruner not very happy about it. It'll be a free kick to Houston.
To Atiba Harris, he lets you know he's there physically. Has done since the first day he put on an MLS kit.
Harris, always a handful when he's in the lineup. He's another guy. Colorado's got a lot of them who have battled injury problems over the years, but a healthy Atiba Harris is dangerous. Moffitt tried to find Songo there. It was headed away by the rookie Corey Kindle, second-round draft pick out of Cal State Bakersfield at left back for Colorado.
And Kindle was very impressive on Tuesday. Had a beautiful assist on Deshaun Brown's goal in their 3-1 loss.
Moore with the long ball to find Harris. Crosses back post, nobody there. Cassio had run to the top of the box, and it rolls out on the near side for a Houston throw-in. Warren Creval trots over to take it. Second-year guy out of UCF who was very impressive at times last year. Does enter the season as the expected backup to Kofi Sarkodie at right back for Houston. That long ball for Elliott drifts to Drew Moore at the back. I don't think Drew Moore is going to play every minute of preseason the way he plays every minute of the MLS regular season.
Yeah, they may decide to give him a break this year.
I looked it up. The last time he started an MLS game and didn't play 90 minutes was, I think, about 6 years ago. Hall comes to the edge of the penalty area to grab that one for Houston and restarts with Bruner. He's expected to be the third center back in the Houston rotation with Jermaine Taylor, who's in there today. He'll leave to join Jamaica for World Cup qualifying soon. And Bobby Boswell on the bench for this first half.
You can see Bruner looks a little unsure of himself distributing with his right foot. A guy who really plays much more comfortably as a left central defender than a right central defender. You expect the Dynamo to go shopping for one more central defender to add to their depth.
Pressured by Elliott, but Drew Moore got it away. Harris battling with Jermaine Taylor, who does get it away. There's Mike Chabala in Houston camp. Longtime Houston player, then was traded a couple of years ago to Portland, then ended up in D.C., and now he's looking for a contract. Mastroeni comes back for the ball. It's great to see back on the field after he played just 2 games last year with concussion issues.
Sorely missed. A U.S. national team legend, I think it's fair to say.
Certainly MLS legend for his years with both Miami and the Colorado Rapids. When you look at guys who have been in MLS as long as he has, very few of them have played for only 2 teams.
Right. And you have to wonder if Miami were still around. Yeah. I don't think they'd ever let him go.
Exactly. Tally Hall rolls it out to himself. Early going here. Houston leading 1-0. Jonathan Yardley, Matt Doyle with you. And pushing off the ball whistled by our referee here against Calderon. So it'll be a free kick to Houston in the attacking half.
Calderon playing for a spot in Ecuador's national team setup as well, wanting to make an impression.
Bruner switches that one with the right foot. Jason Johnson was offside. Flag is up. Now the whistle blows. And it'll be a free kick to the Rapids. Johnson pointing across the line. And it will be a free kick for Stuart Sayus at the back. Stu, as he's known in the Rapids setup. Finally got some MLS games last year. He got 3 games at the end of the year after the Rapids were effectively eliminated and had shutouts in 2 of them. Colorado at the back here. Calderon again. Forward for Casio. It's off the mark, and it'll be a Houston throw-in at the halfway line. Elliott trying to run behind the defense. Kindle got back. Falls to Songo. Casio wins it. The second-year man out of UConn gets it away. Now Mastroeni to Thomas, and they switch it.
Casio is one of the young players around the league that I think a lot of people are looking forward to seeing what he can bring this year. Seems to have the whole bag of tricks as a winger. He just needs to start putting some of those attempts in the back of the net instead of off the woodwork.
He was really hot early last year and then lost some of his playing time through the middle part of the season.
Definitely hit the rookie wall.
That long ball too far, and it rolls to the hulking Stu Seus, 6'6", Haitian international at the back. Product of Albany, the Great Danes. Houston with the intercept there. It's Luis Camargo, one of his early touches. Gets it back from Craval. Songo will switch it, and he was hoping for Chabala to run onto it. I think he overhit it, and it runs out in the corner for a Colorado goal kick.
You can see Houston's picking the ball up in the central midfield, sort of between Thomas and Mastroeni. It's something that they'll have to work out in terms of communication, knowing who's supposed to be where, part and parcel of the shift in formation, I think.
And one of the things we were looking at in the middle of the field for Colorado was the spot in front of those two. Who would fill in for Martin Rivero? Kamani Hill's barely had touches today. I know it's only 5 minutes in, but worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, you definitely won't want to see the guy in that position put his stamp on the game.
Alex Dixon floating down to the left wing with it and took an awkward shove into the advertising boards down there. It'll be a goal kick for Colorado again.
Going step for step with Marvell Wynn. Not a lot of guys in MLS can do that. Wynn, interestingly, back out to the right back where he started his career. Of course, was a central defender in 2010 when the Rapids won their lone MLS Cup.
That's one Matt and I were debating over lunch where Marvell Wynn should play. And the Rapids, of course, re-signing him of a pretty hefty investment in the trio of he, Moore, and Calderon. So one of those guys is going to have to play outside if they want them all on the field at once. Calderon here. Elliott battling for position and wins a corner kick for Houston. Songo trots over to take it near home plate on this modified baseball field for the moment.
All the Dynamo players are trying to get their free kick reps in now before Brad Davis comes back.
Well, certainly this is one way to endear yourself to Dominic Kinnears. Put in quality from set pieces. Songo's delivery, back post, a lot of contact there. And players from each team went down. Colorado was able to clear.
As a rugby tackle from Calderon on Elliott at the back post.
He's been physical, it's safe to say, early. Hall goes long looking for Johnson. He stayed onside this time.
It's good distribution from Hall.
Part of a game he's been working on, of course, in national team camp throughout the month of January. Didn't get to play in the friendly Tuesday night in Houston. Here's Hendry Thomas on the ball. Really kind of an underrated signing to me when he came. Of course, came mid-season last year, and really a CONCACAF guy who has the potential to be a key in this league. As we see Kamani Hill check back to the ball for Colorado.
Yeah, I think we saw immediate improvement out of the Rapids once Hendry Thomas arrived. I still think that he and Mastroeni kind of overlap in terms of their skill set. I think maybe Nick LaBracca, Dylan Powers should be the second holding midfielder in that setup.
We saw Kamani Hill provide some neat footwork there, but his return pass was out of bounds. He's on it again, and it's knocked away by the Dynamo. Dixon, with some help, able to win it. Neat move by Camargo to shake one man. A couple players lost their footing right in front of us. Now Songo with Kindle on him. Good job to beat him physically. Now runs into Calderon, and they both go down, and the foul goes against the Cameroonian Frank Songo. But good battle right there.
Yeah, mid-season form in terms of physicality right now.
Well, if he played for Portland, now he's looking to play for Houston. I would suspect he's able to play a physical game. Again, Songo's rights, not even his rights, he's under contract with Portland, but not in their plans. They've given him permission to go on trial with other clubs. And if Houston wanted to sign up Frank Songo, they'd have to work out a trade with Portland. But again, Portland has so many players under contract, looking to move a couple guys, it wouldn't be out of the question. That one cleared for a Rapids throw-in near sideline. 12 minutes in, Houston 1, Colorado nothing. We're in Tucson, Arizona for preseason Major League Soccer action. A month away, roughly, from the start of the 2013 season.
30 days and counting.
And it can't come soon enough for some of us. Chabala going long, looking for Johnson, clearly onside behind Wynn that time. Cheeky heel flick to himself, but it falls out of bounds for a Colorado throw.
And Mike Chabala could suddenly be a crucial player for this Houston team because Corey Ash is hurt. Jimmy Nealis, who they took in the second round of the Super Draft, is hurt. They're going to need someone to really play that left back role and own it for the month of February at least. Could be the longtime Dynamo man.
Ash had surgery last week and is expected to be ready around opening dates provided. Jimmy Nealis not seriously hurt, but a little ankle knock that we expect will keep him out today. Here's Deshaun Brown in the penalty area. Cross was blocked by Taylor. Kamani Hill forced backward by Moffitt. Here's Kindle, very curious to see what he can do. Second round pick with a high upside from what we hear from a lot of different teams before the draft, and Colorado very happy to get him. 3 guys battling for the left back spot for Colorado, and he's one of them despite not yet being under contract. Warren Creval won that one. It'll be a throw into Houston. The outside back spots were a problem for Oscar Pareja last year. He wasn't happy with Zapata, with Freeman, with just about anybody else he had out there, so he's starting from scratch almost. Cross coming in, and it's Satiba Harris in the box, trying to keep it alive. Thomas battling with Songo, and Houston able to clear, no fouls called on the play.
I think what we saw there was Tony Cassio's ability to beat a guy and make a play in the final third. Oscar Pareja is going to want to see that out of him all year. And that's got to start paying for the Rapids if they're going to contend for a playoff spot.
It's a great cross by Cassio to find Harris, cutting inside the penalty spot, but he couldn't really get a clear shot off against Tally Hall. Songo and Kindle battled again there just in front of us. We'll see how that goes throughout this first half. There's Chabala sliding for Houston. It's knocked toward the end line, and Hall is over there to pick it up safely. So both these teams missing guys due to injuries. We talked to San Jose today. They've got a ton of players banged up. It's going to be common. And then national team absences as well, starting to hit teams throughout Major League Soccer. Dynamo still haven't seen Boniek Garcia since he was playing in the Copa Centroamericana with Honduras, and now will play in World Cup qualifying. U.S.-Honduras next week. I think a few people will be watching that.
1 or 2. Live chat on MLSsoccer.com for that one as well. 4 p.m.
With you? Are you confirmed for that yet?
I'm debating it. We'll have to work it out in my contract.
Yeah, I'd say you may need some incentives for that. Elliott battling with Calderon here. The header falls in the direction of Creval. Cassio knocks it out of bounds for a Houston throw-in. Moffitt forward for his countryman Elliott. Moffitt continuing forward. Camargo finds him. Songo in support, but Moffitt's touch let him down, and it runs out for a goal kick.
Elliott's just been bullying both Drew Moore and Calderon in the back right there. And that lack of physicality from the central defense is something that I think the Rapids will need to pay attention to. Maybe make a move at some point. They've talked about Calderon as a left back. I don't think they really want to do that, but if you're getting bowled by a center forward like that, at some point you have to make an adjustment.
And Elliott doesn't seem like the biggest guy, but he's not that tall. He's not that built in the midsection, but he's certainly been able to throw his weight around so far. Bruner calls that one, finds Songo with the header. Mastroeni comes in and wins it for Colorado. Socks it around his ankles as always. Drops it to Cassio into the penalty area. Cassio fires it back post. Nobody can get there. And it's out for a goal kick.
Positive play from the Rapids, though, picking up that second ball in central midfield and driving forward. 4 or 5 guys pushing up. Final ball wasn't there, but...
Do you think it was a shot or a cross? I honestly I couldn't tell.
I don't think he knows either.
Yeah. But good to see Pablo Mastroeni. Again, as is the trademark, you can barely see his shin guards. They're not even there. Stepping through the midfield.
And playing without the headgear, it should be noted.
Interesting. Yeah, you said he wore it on Tuesday, correct?
He did.
Cassio chipping this through for Deshaun Brown. Offside flag is up. Whistle blows. Free kick to Houston here. Mastroeni certainly a lightning rod at times for criticism with some of the physical play in the midfield, but kind of one of the guys who's really helped build MLS over the last 15 years. Here's Kamani Hill with it for Colorado. Steps around a tackle from Jermaine Taylor and drops it off. Here's Hendry Thomas to Kindle. Kindle playing it forward, looking for Brown. Bruner forced him wide. Brown can't hold it. It'll be a Houston throw-in.
Rookie struggling a little bit, trying to make his presence felt right there.
Bruner, Taylor, and of course Boswell waiting in the wings. Those are guys who are going to put a body on you as a forward. I think Deshaun Brown as a rookie certainly having an adjustment there, and the preseason will help him get used to it.
Yeah, much more comfortable in open field play than he is in build-up and possession.
Well, I was a little surprised to see him as the center man in the forward line. I thought he might be a good wing guy. We'll see if he gets some reps there as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he and Atiba Harris switch at some point in this first half.
Long switch. Chabala gets there, but Marvell Wynn able to win it for Colorado. Kamani Hill with the left-footed ball looking for Brown, running behind Bruner. Shoulders it to himself in the box, tries to turn, goes down, no call. And Craval clears it away for Houston. Tough to tell how much was the turf and how much was the contact there. But certainly the speed of Deshaun Brown giving Eric Bruner a little trouble there. Rapids bring it backward to Calderon. We got peanut vendors here at preseason. Cotton candy? We're going to get an order of that for you for the second half?
I think maybe some hot chocolate.
I hear it's better than it was on Tuesday. I'm just glad I wasn't here then.
Tuesday was pretty brutal.
Slide tackle by Johnson, working back defensively. That'll endear him to the Dynamo veterans. And Houston brings it all the way back to Tally Hall in goal.
Definitely. Johnson's a kid who was very raw at the combine, but seems to have the right attitude and know that he's not going to walk in and take somebody's starting spot. I think the Dynamo are higher on him than I expected them to be completely honest.
Well, they needed speed, especially with Omar Cummings also out following surgery. Again, expected to be back early in the season, but not available right now. And then Kalen Carr out for the longer term, so they had to have some sort of speed to go up front.
He can replicate some of that 1-versus-1 trickery that Matt Kanji had that I think the Dynamo used to good effect at times last year.
Hall rolls this one out to Bruner coming through the middle. His pass off the mark, picked off by Kindle, but he couldn't find Mastroeni. Got a thumbs up from the veteran anyway. Here's Chabala stepping forward for Houston. Dynamo find Alex Dixon in the midfield, and his pass off the mark forces Tally Hall out of his penalty area. Dixon now in his third year. We've seen him out wide at times, and we see him as one of the more advanced central midfielders today. Bruner going long, good run by Elliott off the shoulder of Calderon. Takes a touch trying to get into the penalty area, and Calderon did a good job of getting position with his body and ushered it out for a goal kick.
Yeah, it was a nice job of just knowing your angles and keeping strong and not letting the forward fight through.
I've been impressed with Elliott, though. He's moved well off the ball behind the defense, which, again, doesn't have to be the fastest guy, but he's been effective tonight.
Yeah, he's shown much better today than he did on Tuesday. As a guy with a lot of experience, 150 games or so in the Scottish Premier League, didn't put up big numbers, but not a neophyte, not someone who's just out of college.
Songo working on Kindle, creating through the midfield. Johnson on the left with Chabala overlapping. Now brings it back to Songo, who's continued over there. Elliott waiting at the far post. And the Dynamo bring it backward to Jermaine Taylor. Good defensive work by Colorado to get back and force that one backward. .22nd minute, Houston 1, Colorado nothing. Preseason action from Tucson as Bruner's long ball floats to Stu Seus in the Colorado goal. Here's Calderon. Inside to Thomas. Back to Moore again. They've really pushed Wynn up on the right-hand side. They find him here. This is inching forward with possession for Colorado right here, but it's what they're trying to do to expose and create some gaps. Here's Kindle going forward, has found one. Kindle going to the end line, fires it across. It's blocked away by Jermaine Taylor. Crunching tackle by Songo, and it's knocked out for a corner kick.
And once again, very good work from Tony Cassio to check back and be strong on the ball and then release Kindle on the overlap, setting that up.
Kamani Hill going to trot over and take the corner kick. First corner kick of the day for Colorado. Kamani Hill, his second year in Major League Soccer. Has been capped for the U.S., but not for a number of years now. Another guy who battled injuries last year. Hill delivers, going back post. It's headed on by Craval and rolls out on the far side for another Rapids corner.
It's going to have to be all movement for Colorado on these set pieces because they really don't have much in the way of a target. Just Atiba Harris.
Thomas, Moore, Calderon are the other guys up there, but as you mentioned, mostly at a height disadvantage. Kamani Hill's outswinger this time, low, deflected, and Songo gets it away to Chabala. Houston wants to run. Songo busting up the middle. Now moving over, and Marvell Wynn shoulders him off well and wins it for Colorado.
That was very well read by Marvell Wynn, and you're not going to beat him in a foot race.
Well, Songo made that run on the left, and Elliott was trying to sneak through on the right. I thought that might have been the ball to play. But Houston unable to make that counterattack pay off. And the Rapids find their shape again. Here's Kindle at left back. Forward for Deshaun Brown. Didn't really have any options, and it's out for a throw-in, and it goes to Colorado, somewhat to my surprise. And now Luis Camargo whistled for a foul. It's a free kick to Colorado. Rapids open March 2nd in Texas, actually, against FC Dallas. Their home opener March 9th at Dick's Sporting Goods Park.
Have Jason Johnson on the right now and Frank Songo on the left.
Songo just didn't want to run back after he ran all the way across the field before. Early ball here. Chabala heads away. Kamani Hill first to it for Colorado, though. Neat job to escape Camargo briefly. Keep possession for Colorado. Here's Wynn. He's been somewhat quiet from right back today. And Jermaine Taylor intercepts in the corner ahead of Mastroeni. Clears it into the Rapids bench for a Colorado throw. Colorado's still waiting on a couple of its off-season signings. As Hill tries to feed Brown. It's blocked by Bruner. And Hendry Thomas, Adam Moffitt collide. Here's Cassio. Going to line it up and over the scoreboard with the shot. I don't know what he gets for hitting it over the baseball scoreboard, but
try out with the Broncos, maybe.
It'll be a goal kick for Houston as Moffitt and Hendry Thomas shake hands.
So if you're a coach, do you praise that play for being aggressive, or do you say, kid, you got to pick up your head and make a pass in that situation?
Can I say both? I think they love Tony Ocassio's willingness to shoot, but
not the right choice there.
No. Not in terms, at least, of execution. But Colorado still missing Kevin Harbottle, the Chilean signing, and Alundu, the young Cameroonian. Elliott trying to find Johnson for Houston. It was broken up. And the Rapids have it at the back. Both of those players still working through paperwork issues before arriving. And, of course, we told you Rivero out. He actually had surgery today, as you see a foul whistled for a Rapids free kick. successful surgery, we're told. So all went well. And again, 2 to 3 months for the Rapids playmaker, who was one of the top young playmakers in the league last year. Only 2 guys under the age of 23 had at least 7 assists, and Martin Rivera was one of them.
And dead ball specialist as well. And we saw 2 pretty weak corner kicks come in from Kamani Hill earlier. That's something they'll have to work out for the early part of the season. Who's going to take those restarts?
Can you name the other player under 23 with at least 7 assists last year? I think you can.
Oh, dear.
I'll give you a few minutes.
Okay.
If you know the answer, you can tweet Matt at MLS_analyst. That's it, right?
Or just go. Yeah. Or just go to the stats page for me.
28th minute, Houston 1, Colorado nothing. Preseason action from Tucson. Tony Cassio on it. Luis Camargo, beg your pardon, Frank Songo forcing him backward. The switch goes to Hill, who's got a step on Shabala. His cross blocked out for a corner kick. The 3rd corner for the Rapids in the last couple of minutes. No cheating now. No, you can't look. No, no, no. He was trying to click to the stats page.
I'm racking my brain. I'm coming up short on this.
It is not an American player. Corner kick for the Rapids from the right-hand side. Hill looking for the penalty spot. Hendry Thomas got ahead to it, but it's over the Houston net. It'll be a goal kick for Tally Hall. I've stumped the armchair analyst.
You really have. I should have committed last year's stats page to memory before doing my first broadcast with Jonathan Yardley.
Oh, you're going to get tested, my friend. There's a young man who goes by one name.
Camille, didn't you?
No. Right country, right nationality. Callum Elliott battling with Drew Moore there. Elliott holds it and gets fouled by Hendry Thomas. It'll be a free kick to Houston about 35 yards from goal. I will end your suffering.
Please do.
It is the youngster Felipe.
Oh, jeez. Totally forgot about Felipe. I apologize to all my fans in Montreal, all 6 of you now. He came in.
Oui, c'est un problème magnifique.
Oh, there we go. Showing me up.
Uh-huh. Felipe did have a very good year. He had a lot of goals, too.
He did 4 goals, 10 assists, I want to say.
Cross coming in and easily held by Sayus.
And played like a veteran, so I didn't think he was under 23 at first. But
Sayus early ball out. Dixon there, and it got past him to Cassio. Houston caught a little with some of their big men forward. Cassio trying to take advantage. Now we'll switch it for Wynn. Inside to Hill. Chabala on him. Hill trying to turn it backward and it's knocked out of bounds off of Houston for a Colorado throw. You can ask me a trivia question that I don't know the answer to later if you want to get back. I won't be offended.
That's all right. I'll give you this round.
With many more rounds to come. Matt and I still have 4 more games here in Tucson. Again, tomorrow night, Portland against Kansas City. It'll be my first look at Caleb Porter's Timbers. They were very good, I heard, on Tuesday.
They were. They had some very nice moments stringing passes together. Still worried about who's going to play the defensive midfield, especially with Jack Jewsbury going out with a bit of a hamstring injury. But a team that looks much better, I think, now than they did at this time last year.
We saw a lot of injuries on that first day between Rivero, and not all big stuff, but you talk about Jewsbury, Ricardo Clark left the game.
It was a little chippy. I think everybody was
Everybody's
mad that
ready
it was
to play.
so cold.
Oh, yeah. They were tired of doing fitness work. Saturday we'll have a doubleheader. Colorado against San Jose in the morning. And then after a break where we'll get lunch at, well, I can predict where we'll get lunch. It's Houston and Vancouver in the nightcap. And then Tuesday, our last broadcast from the Desert Friendlies. That'll be Portland and Seattle. Here's a through ball. Finds Dixon right side of the box. Going back post. Tapped, knocked by Sayus and kept out eventually. Elliott and Johnson were both there. I don't think Elliott hit it the way he wanted to. And Sayus able to make the save. Camargo trying to keep it alive. It's broken up by Hendry Thomas in the middle for Colorado. And foul in the center circle. Hill is furious. And Luis Camargo may get a talking to here. And it's going to be a card as well for Luis Camargo, the Brazilian.
Well earned was that one.
He's got a little bit of experience with those. 32nd minute on the yellow card to Camargo, now in his 3rd year in MLS, but his 2nd full season.
It was a good run out of midfield from Alex Dixon there, and I think that's what Dom Kinnear wants to see out of the youngster. Kind of a make-or-break season for him. You've been around the Dynamo quite a bit. Do you think he ends up playing in midfield for this team, more as a second striker?
I like him out wide. I think his pace is really what sets Alex Dixon apart. That, and he's got very quick feet. But it seems mostly to be a position of need. Wherever they need someone, he goes, and unfortunately that doesn't always lend itself to developing yourself in one of those spots. Certainly he's shown moments like that one of being able to change a game, but they've been few and far between. Long ball here by Calderon, looking for Casio, who's been active today, and Craval does well to body him out of bounds and take the throw-in.
That left side is really Colorado's only attacking outlet thus far. They haven't been able to get any traction in the central midfield. Obviously, the loss of Martin Rivero playing a role there.
Yeah, has Harris been pinching inside almost too much for Colorado? We haven't seen him really get it wide the way we have Casio on this left.
I think there's just a lack of communication. You don't know who's going to be where right now. And frankly, I don't want to see it.
Good tackles by Colorado. I thought that was a clean tackle by Hendry Thomas, despite the way Frank Songo fell, which was heavy. And it'll be a free kick to Houston. Hill did very well in the first tackle, and I thought Thomas came through the ball cleanly. Even Songo's foot was on top of the ball. So when the ball was cleared out, he went down heavily. And Hendry Thomas getting a talking to, but no card in the midfield.
Man who's not afraid to set the physical tone right there.
Bruner restarts long, looking for either Johnson or Chabala. Chabala's touch lets him down, and it runs to Seus in the Colorado goal. Interesting to watch here. Jason Johnson backpedaling furiously to try and cover for Chabala. I always want to see how the rookies handle those kinds of responsibilities. Wynn going forward, looking for Atiba Harris. Actually was looking for a flick from Brown toward Harris, who was running behind the defense. It didn't get there. And Houston goes the other way with Johnson, again trying to cut inside. Denied, and Colorado will collect at the back. Both teams with players warming up on the far side. We, again, expect to see probably entirely different lineups in the second half for each side.
Movement's a little stagnant here in the midfield for Colorado.
Dixon really stepping up alongside Elliott as the farthest forward of those central midfielders for Houston. Songo helping pressure as well, battling with Kamani Hill, and he's taken down by Kamani Hill for a dangerous free kick and a yellow card. Second of the game to Hill. Call it the 36th minute if you're scoring at home. And if you're scoring at home for preseason Major League Soccer, you are our friend. You are our comrade in arms. Free kick is about, call it 30 yards from goal, maybe a little less. Songo to deliver again. Not a bad little crowd on hand here for preseason on the near side, so out of your view.
Bruner, Elliott, Jermaine Taylor, I think, targets right here.
Jason Johnson's hiding at the back post as well. His hair gives him a little bit of an advantage over Marvell Wynn back there. Songo's delivery, 36th minute, back post, nobody there. And a little too far in front of that line of back post runners. Songo's a guy who's trying to convince the Dynamo that they should trade for him. Would you do it based on what you've seen from him in a game and a half so far?
Not based on this game and a half. He did have a good second half of the season last year. But my concern is that he's a guy who wants to start and thinks he should be a starter, and he's not going to be if Boniek's here. So you wonder about if he's going to be a locker room fit. Now, one of those things that, of course, Dom Kinnear will have a better feel for than you or I.
Definitely. But we'll see. I think he's got certainly these friendlies. I don't know if he's guaranteed to make the Charleston trip, which is Houston's tournament, but he should be here through Saturday's game as well to get a chance to prove himself, as this one is knocked out by Hendry Thomas for a Houston corner. And again, Songo eagerly trots over to take it.
Zonal marking scheme from Colorado, it looks like.
At least they usually cover the 6 with zonal and pick up man elsewhere. And Songo goes low near, and it's kept on goal by Elliott, but right into the hands of Stu Seus pretty easily. I'm going to give him a save. So second save of the game for Seus. Neat turn by Mastroeni's pass was a little far for Thomas, but Hill kept it alive with good movement to Kindle. Brown running up the middle. Harris as well. It's Cassio on the left-hand side. Cassio trying to get by Creval to the end line. Cassio still dangerous. His cross is blocked. Harris's shot blocked as well. And this one deflected out for a corner kick. Colorado dangerous down that left-hand side again.
I thought Cassio had Creval beat right there, but the second-year player, second-year right back, really did a nice job with the sliding tackle to prevent the cross.
Fourth corner of this first half for Colorado. Got about 7 minutes to play here in Tucson. Houston took the lead right at 1 minute with Callum Elliott, the Scottish trialist, scoring. Hill's corner toward the penalty spot, headed down and headed off the line by Creval. I don't believe that was Creval. I think it's Dixon on the post. I beg pardon. That's the goal that's really far away from us.
You don't often see the Houston Dynamo giving up uncontested headers on restarts. Dom Kinnear will make note of that one.
So Hill to deliver again from the same side. Good delivery. Hall out this time and has it for Houston. So after you weren't thrilled with the first couple deliveries from Kamani Hill, he's been better with the last couple of set pieces.
He must be listening in.
We're going to have to get clarification on who that was. It may have been Johnson as we see him trot upfield. But again, Dixon's my guess. Is one of the smaller players. He's usually on the post. Camargo chipping it through. It falls to Jason Johnson. I don't think he was ready for it because Calderon should have intercepted it. Colorado goes the other way. And it'll be a free kick to Houston. You have 8 new interactions on Twitter, Matt. We must have said something wrong, or else they're all making fun of you for not knowing Felipe.
Yeah, it's the second one. They're all making fun of me for not knowing.
Camilo did have 7 assists, so maybe that stat was more than 7 assists. Long ball in the direction of Johnson, but easily dealt with by Drew Moore. Second ball won by Mastroeni, but it's knocked out of bounds for a Houston throw-in.
Oscar Pareja off the bench shouting some instructions right there.
We could get a pretty good coaches 11 out of the group that's here.
It's very true.
Johnson finds Elliott, who plays it right back to Jason Johnson, top of the box, sliding tackle by Hendry Thomas to poke it away. Stu Seus on the end line lets it run out, and it's a corner kick. It's a mental mistake by Seus, and he realizes it and kind of looks in the air like, my bad on that one. It'll be the third corner for Houston. Oh, we can answer that question at halftime. Corner delivery by Songo toward the back post. Bruner got a head to the ball, but it goes straight up. Moore didn't clear it, and Seus at 6'6" comes out to grab it near the top of the penalty area. Like that aggression.
Yeah, he's come off his line better tonight than we've seen from him in the past. I think he struggled with that quite a bit. I guess more on through balls than on crosses. The brief time that he got last year and in Champions League play.
Yeah, we saw him play 2 years ago in a lot of Champions League action. Again, only the 3 MLS games last year. And he's a guy with a lot of potential, certainly based on his size, but still the number 2 to Matt Pickens. Did re-sign a new contract, which is always kind of interesting for a backup goalkeeper. Rapids recover the ball there with Mastroeni. Ahead to Harris. Deshaun Brown fell down on the right corner of the area. Now tries to get it. Dixon tackled it away for Houston.
It was good high pressure from the Rapids there to generate, well, it wasn't quite a chance, but a little bit of possession in the attacking third.
Elliott long ball, and it's headed back by Calderon to Seuss under pressure from Jason Johnson. And a bad bounce hurts Corey Kindle there, and he couldn't keep it in. Poor guy went sliding under the baseball dirt there. Dynamo throw finds Moffitt in the middle of the field. A couple of minutes to go before halftime. And one of the questions we got on Twitter that I was looking at was, is Wade Barrett here? And we were talking about coaches on this field who could play the game pretty well. You got Wade Barrett, Steve Ralston over on the Houston side, Oscar Pareja in the Colorado camp.
Shouldn't sell Dom short. He's a little past it now, but he had about 50 U.S. national team caps back in the day.
I would not want to go up against him. Another long-range shot by Casio. This one bangs off the bottom of the 7th inning. This will be another goal kick for Tally Hall. And if you extend it to the other team's coaching staffs, we should make that an off-day activity. I don't think they would go for it, but it would be entertaining.
I kind of wonder which team's staff would win small-sided games.
4v4?
Yeah.
Trying to think of Colorado. Wilmer Cabrera, Dave Durr.
Obviously, Pareja is going to be the star of that team.
I know I'm missing one name. I'm just imagining Mike Toshak from Portland playing 4v4, and that's really making me smile. This one cleared near the halfway line. It'll be a throw into Houston. Late first half, Houston 1, Colorado nothing. Most of these guys see the time on their day running out with the second half and likely mass substitutions looming. Callum Elliott has the game's only goal. Right-footed shot from the top of the penalty area after he was fed by the Houston rookie Jason Johnson. Taylor and Dixon exchange passes. Dixon under pressure uses those quick feet to go backward 40 yards and squares it for Tally Hall. Hall drives it in the direction of Songo. Falls to Camargo with a man on him. Good touches by Camargo. Now with 2 men on him. Tried to find Elliott. He's offside. And it'll be a free kick for Colorado.
You can see one of the issues that Colorado's having right here. Kindle won that header, but where was the central midfielder to pick up the second ball? There's just a dislocation right now between the back line and the midfield that they're going to need to sort out. It's obviously a work in progress for them over the course of not just the preseason, but I think probably the entire season.
Foul whistled against Houston near the halfway line. It'll be a free kick to Colorado with just seconds to play in this first half. Jonathan Yardley, Matt Doyle with you from the Kino Sports Complex in Tucson, Arizona, preseason 2013. Drew Moore floats this one in near the end of the first half. Bruner got there for Houston, headed it away. Songo wins it for Houston, trying to feed Jason Johnson behind the back line. Johnson into the penalty area. Johnson shot saved by Seuss. Elliott a little bit delayed on the rebound, keeps it alive with Moffitt. To Craval in the corner. He's taken down hard by Calderon. And a free kick to Houston in this right corner, right near the end of the first half.
Well, if you want to see why Jason Johnson was rated so highly, that's a good example right there. The ability to get behind a defense, run onto a through ball, good strength to hold off Marvell Wynn. Didn't have the finish, but a very positive play from the rookie.
Moffitt and Songo take it short. Craval back to Songo. They don't have a whole lot of time to get this one in. And Songo sees it run out of bounds and sees the half come to an end. But it's a half that saw Houston take a 1-0 lead on Colorado. They'll hold that lead into the half, and this group will walk away satisfied with a job well done on the Colorado side. Some moments, especially down this left-hand side where they were dangerous. Matt, we know which team came away looking better on the scoreboard. Who comes away feeling good from each team?
Well, I think both Warren Creval and Tony Cassio have to feel good because they had a 45-minute battle out there that was sort of mid-season form for both of them. And I think a lot of players, especially competitors, as both those guys are, they like that. It gets them into gear, into season already. I think Pablo Mastroeni and Hendry Thomas have a lot of work to do if they're going to be the central midfield pair for the Rapids. Both guys, World Cup veterans, great players in their own right, maybe not the complementary pieces that they need to be.
We'll see some different looks in the second half. We're going to take a break and try and figure out exactly who we're going to be seeing in the second half, and we'll bring that to you when we're back for the second half in a couple of minutes. Stay tuned right here on MLSsoccer.com. The Desert Friendlies from Tucson. Houston 1, Colorado 0 at halftime. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this short-ish break.
The rookie out of VCU, cutting inside under pressure from Marvell Wynn, trying to find Calamari, top of the box, fires, scores for Houston!
Salinas ahead. The flag is down. Wando! Back of the net! Goal San Jose!
Space for Sam Cronin to reset on the edge of the area. Drifting in the header is in there by Chris Wondolowski. Wondolowski through the middle. Plays it into the back of Chavez down the right. Chavez pulls the ball back. It's Jay Salinas. It is 2-0 San Jose. The substitute is outside. Kosic comes out back. Hunts it back post. This
Wando. Wando! Goal! Chris Wondolowski able to come in and chip it over the top of Joe Cannon. Gordon! Header! Oh! Alan Gordon, a diving header at the 6th. Drives one far post. Oh! Oh! Goal! Chris Wondolowski on the volley.
Pace. Marquez now through. Here's Stevenson. Flag stays down, plays it across, and it's finished by Rafael Baca.
Sends one to the middle. Ball headed out. Corey Stevenson. Ball in the middle. Yeah! It's a goal. Simon Dawkins out of nowhere.
Number 2,
Short ball. Stevenson. Wando. San Jose. Wando with another goal. His 8th of the year.
Chris Wondolowski. Nice cutting ball through. Marvin Chavez turning, looking, played across. A terrific goal in the air. The Quakes take the lead. Back of the ball. International for Lenhart. Stephen Lenhart has another goal. Moreno's onside.
Back here at the Desert Friendlies, Tucson, Texas, halftime between the Houston Dynamo and the Colorado Rapids, with Houston leading Colorado 1-0. Jonathan Yardley, Matt Doyle with you, and we're going to take a quick look back at a couple of the key plays from the first half, including the opening goal. Just 1 minute into the game, Jason Johnson, top of the box, feeding Callum Elliott on trial, and that's a good way to make a name for yourself, firing one to the top corner. And then late, very late in the first half, Jason Johnson running behind the defense, and Stu Seus for Colorado, a big save to keep it a 1-0 game. And that's where we are with Houston leading Colorado 1-0 at the half. And Matt, we've gotten a look at what we think are the second half lineups for each team. It's completely new 11 for Colorado. 8 guys in for Houston and a bit of reshuffling. We'll fill you in as the half gets started, but what are you looking for? What players are you excited to see in the second half?
Well, Nick LaBrocca for one, because I think he's the natural fill-in for Martin Rivero as that number 10 role in Colorado. Another one is the guys who stayed on for Houston. Frank Zongo, Callum Elliott, both trying to earn a spot in this roster. Luis Camargo as well. Wonder what that one's all about. You don't want to overuse your guys early in the preseason. Maybe a message from Dom Kinnear right there.
So these second half lineups, we'll bring them to you as best as we can. We start with Houston. Tally Hall stays in goal. Kofi Sarkodie comes in at right back. Bobby Boswell and the rookie Anthony Arena, still unsigned out of Wake Forest, at center back.
Jonathan Yardley.
Doppelganger, apparently. Jimmy Nealis is going to play at left back. We told you he had a bit of an ankle knock, but he is going to give it a go at left back, their second-round pick out of Georgetown. In the midfield, Camargo will sit behind Giles Barnes and Javon Watson, as this one is played all the way back to Tally Hall in the Houston goal. And up front for Houston, Songo on the right, Callum Elliott on the left, and Cam Weaver into the game at forward. For Colorado, we're still getting a look at exactly how they're lining up, but Clint Irwin has taken over in goal. Trialist out of Elon, who's trying to earn a spot as the Rapids' number 3 goalkeeper. The right back is the former Dynamo midfielder Brian Mullen, who's been playing right back in this preseason after making a few cameos there at the end of last year. The center backs, Brenton Griffiths, rookie out of South Florida, also trying to earn a contract. Shane O'Neill, the homegrown player in his second year for the Rapids, U.S. under-20 international standout. And Anthony Wallace at left back, one of the guys competing for a starting spot. Here's Nick LaBrocca, top of the box for Colorado, as we continue bringing you the Rapids lineup. The central midfielders, Dylan Powers, who's on the ball right now, the rookie out of Notre Dame. Nathan Sturgis, who was with the Dynamo last year and has played for, I think, 1/3 of all MLS teams. And Nick LaBrocca, who may be rivaling that himself, now in his second stint with Colorado. The forwards for the Rapids, Walter Martinez, with the braids on the near side. He'll be trying to earn a contract. That's a familiar tune out there. Honduran international, very experienced. Cesar Romero, up front, played with Chivas USA last year. Actually, they had a very good record when he was in the starting lineup, but let go there. And Diego Serna, the homegrown player out of Akron, in there for Colorado. So I hope that caught you up on the lineups, who's in, who's out, and we'll see if there are any other changes as the game goes along. But early second half, Houston leading Colorado 1-0. The Dynamo, of course, in white with orange going right to left, and the Rapids in all burgundy going left to right.
Very inexperienced central defensive pairing from the Rapids. Griffiths, as you mentioned, a rookie, had a pretty rough combine, but has all the physical tools you'd want to see. Type of guy who you think maybe you draft him, you stash him in the USL Pro for a couple years, and then you see if he can cut it at MLS level.
There's Walter Martinez on the ball right now. Camargo got a foot to it, got it away to Javon Watson, who's got short sleeves and gloves on. Here's Jimmy Nealis for Houston. Good ball down the line, looking for Barnes. A little too far, though, and Griffiths will chase it down at the end line. Chips out of trouble to Mullen, who battles with Weaver. That could get entertaining in a hurry, and eventually knocked out of bounds by Mullen. Javon Watson on it for Houston. Backward to Anthony Arena, and this is, we talk about the center backs on one side. Houston needs a fourth center back. We don't know who it's going to be, and this is one of those chances for Anthony Arena to audition for that spot.
Arena divided opinion among college coaches.
Here's Anelis with a chance to cross for Houston, plays it in, and Clint Irwin off his line to catch it for Colorado.
As I was saying, some saw him projecting as a fullback, some saw him maybe as a central defender. He doesn't have ideal size or athleticism really for either spot, but he's a heady player, and as we've seen in the past, good soccer IQ can make up for not any, but for a lot of physical shortcomings.
Colorado switching to the left-hand side. Anthony Wallace, often injured left back, trying to cross it in, looking for Romero. It's cleared away out of the back, and Camargo plays it forward to nobody, collected by Griffiths. Here's Brian Mullen, one of just 2 5-time MLS Cup champions in MLS history. Plays a long ball. There's a third now?
I think we just stumped Jonathan Yardley.
Jeff Agus, Brian Mullen, and Landon. Yes.
There we go. 1-1 now,
Good catch,
folks.
good catch. I still think of Landon as too young to have 5 championships, but that says a lot about him. Romero going to try it from distance, easily caught by Tally Hall.
I don't mind that from the youngster. You get on the ball, you get it on your good foot right there. Nobody's around you. Have a rip from 30. Get into the game.
Unlike Tony Cassio, he put his on target also. I think
true.
Tony Cassio was on his back foot a couple of times.
And
but
then he had that one over the scoreboard that's still going.
At least there's no scoreboard at this end to really kind of rub it in your face if you miss too high. Weaver battling with Shane O'Neill, and the foul call goes against O'Neill, who gives up about 4-6 inches on Weaver.
And he went in there hard, and kind of expected to see that from him because he was manhandled against Bright Dike the other day, and Weaver, of course, a very similar forward.
I take it back. O'Neill's listed at 6'2". Cam Weaver's 6'4". He doesn't give up quite as much height. I think he gives up a little bit in terms of physical strength.
6'2", 125.
No. They list him at 190. Songo going to deliver again, still trying to impress and being given every chance to do so. Songo going back post, looking for Weaver, and Irwin collided with the huge striker, and the foul goes against Weaver.
Brave play from the goalkeeper right there.
People don't like direct soccer, but I kind of love watching a 6'4" guy just fly at people.
You've never played goalkeeper.
I have, actually, just not at any level that had someone who was 6'4". Wallace, the left back, going forward, caught between Romero and Serna, but it falls to LaBraca. Broken up by Kofi Sarkodie. Here's Anthony Arena on it for Houston. Good ball out to Elliott.
And you see what coaches like about Arena right there. He gets the ball, his head is up, he can pass with either foot. Little reminiscent of Tim Ream with how he carries himself.
Very calm. And with reason to be so from what we've seen so far. Here's Giles Barnes on the left-hand side. Early ball going back post, looking for Weaver. He was called off it by Songo, and he banged it off the scoreboard as well. I guess we'll count that as a shot. Jonathan Yardley, Matt Doyle with you from the Kino Sports Complex, Tucson, Arizona. The Desert Friendlies, game number 4. And we've got 4 more coming your way. 1 tomorrow night, 2 Saturday. And then the final friendly on Tuesday of next week, Seattle against Portland. We'll be back here in Tucson in a week and a half for the Desert Diamond Cup over at the stadium. And, of course, also MLS preseason action from Orlando, from Charleston, and from Portland, all available on MLSsoccer.com. Ball falls to Weaver, and he goes wide left for Elliott. Giles Barnes, great skill on the left sideline. Still keeps it away from Brian Mullen. Cut back, still going, and Brian Mullen's not going to stand for a whole lot of that. He gave a pretty good jersey pull into that tackle and gives away a free kick.
Giles Barnes is an entertainer out there in a way that they maybe haven't had since Dwayne DiRosario. I'm very high on the Englishman, and he is into it. He loves being here in MLS and in Houston.
Hey, you got the chance to sit down with him this afternoon. He made up your mind, huh?
Yeah, well, he's effusive about it. I still think he needs to work on his fitness, but in terms of being able to crack a defense open with the ball, few in the league can match him.
Of course, had that one key moment in the playoffs last year, breaking down the left side of the DC United defense. Another free kick chance for Houston. Songo blasts it well over everybody, and all the defenders give him dirty looks because they've got to run 40 yards back for nothing now. We're taking your Twitter questions and comments. You can tweet at MLS_analyst. And there were a couple questions we picked out we thought we would look at. One of them was about that man, Frank Songo. You can, well, let's see. It's from Aaron Flynn. If Songo doesn't make it in Houston, is there a team in MLS where Songo could start? Sarkody clears this one for a Rapids throw-in. What are your thoughts?
Going through the mental Rolodex of teams who need flank help, the two that really jump to mind are New York and Dallas.
Dallas. They need flank help, I agree.
But I'm not sure he's the starter in either place.
Right.
He certainly has to be more convincing than he's been tonight.
And one of the key factors is we don't know what his second-year salary number is, because I think the number I heard last year for his first season was low, but that the second season was guaranteed at a higher number, or would be at a higher number if picked up. And so now whatever team takes him is taking a bit of a cap hit, or else Portland's paying for a bit of it.
Yeah, and you have to be convinced that the guy is going to make a difference if you're going to do that.
And the international slot.
Exactly. Interestingly, Walter Martinez, the Honduran on the field now for Colorado, does not take up an international slot.
Yes, we got word on that. It was a good heads up from the Colorado communications staff that he has U.S. residency.
So if they should decide to sign him, makes it a little easier.
Hasn't been called in for, I think, about a year and a half for Honduras, but very effective player for them at times. Was in the World Cup squad in 2010. Bobby Boswell just about leveled. I believe it was Romero a couple of plays ago. Got away with it. And gave him a helping hand, too. Neat touch by Songo to cut inside of Brian Mullen. Has his head up. You can hear the Dynamo bench saying, don't run away from him. Sarkody to the corner. His cross deflected. And what's the word? Corner kick to Houston.
And that's textbook Dynamo play right there. Get the fullbacks bombing down and either whip in a cross or win the corner kick.
Sarkody, a guy who seemed to be in the doghouse much of last year. He wasn't getting playing time, and then all of a sudden in September, Dynamo defense was tired, looked bad in the first half of one game. He stepped in at halftime and never left the lineup. Delivery near post, headed out easily. Collected by Elliott for Houston. Songo looks to play it in again, well over the top. Goal kick, Colorado. So Brian Mullen at right back. Oh, we do have some other questions. I'll let you pick them out. We've got some amusing ones as well. If you can make us laugh, you get bonus points.
No, we got, it looks like, yeah, Quincy Amarikwa tweeting at me wanting to know where Andre Akpan is, and that's a good question. Akpan was very good on Tuesday, and very good to end the season for the Rapids. Real center forward, the type of guy who I think can come into his own and help a team, especially coming off the bench. So I think we might see him down the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, no, we weren't told of any injury concerning him. He is on the trip as far as we know.
Yep.
I always like having Ivy League guys in the squad, so can't argue with that.
Someone for Yards to talk the classics with.
I don't know about that. I can Jimmy Nealis, National Latin Honor Society. We could have quite the post-game interview if either one of us spoke Latin.
Quod facus bene fac.
Oh, okay. Well, apparently our post-game interview is going to be Matt and Jimmy Nealis in Latin. I can tell
Dozens of listeners for that.
I can tell you the first words of my 7th grade Latin textbook and not much else. Barnes may have gotten away with a handball there, but Houston's not complaining. Now he tries to pick out Songo running behind the back line. Not a bad ball. Headed away by the towering Griffiths, who stands 6'3" back there, and cleared for a Houston throw-in. Colorado.
Nealis, in addition to speaking Latin, a very, very heady player. I love the way he combines up that left flank. He's not going to wow anybody with athleticism, but quality pickup late in the second round of the Super Draft.
Crossed by Elliott here. A little bit of miscommunication, and it runs out on the far side. Nealis, not a guy who's signed, but we have heard encouraging signs about him. And again, given that he was taken in the second round, he would seem to have the edge for one of those off-budget roster slots. And given Houston's need for depth at left back, where Corey Ash is backed up really only by Jermaine Taylor, who's also a starting center back.
Yeah. Very easy comparison for Nealis. He is sort of a Todd Donovan type for MLS fans wanting to know.
Colorado trying Griffiths as one of its center backs. They also have O'Neal who can play there. And again, they're pretty much covered as kind of starting center backs go with Wynn, Moore, and Calderon.
O'Neal also a US U20 international. He'll be in action next month.
Signed as a midfielder last year as kind of a holding midfielder, but in the kind of Perry Kitchen mold, he can play at the back as well. And that one ends up out for a goal kick. And we're going to get a couple of additional substitutions for Houston here. We will call this the 60th minute. Tally Hall going to leave the game. Eric Marscheider, the Houston third-string goalkeeper, going to come in. We're also going to see, I believe, Brian Ownby. And Brian Ching as well up front for Houston, in for Elliott and Songo.
Looks like a switch to the 4-4-2 as well. Luis Camargo holding, Giles Barnes playing the number 10 role. Javon Watson wearing the number 10 but playing out left. And Ownby at right midfield. They used him at right back a little bit on Tuesday. Didn't look entirely comfortable out there, but seems to have the tools. Maybe convert him over the course of a couple years.
I'm curious to see Ownby. His assists to minutes played ratio last year was terrific. He had a couple of assists and played less than 200 minutes, I'm pretty sure, was the final number in regular season play. But he's a guy, I think, still adjusting kind of to the pace of the professional game. Very accomplished college career and also played at the U20 World Cup. But still trying to find his spot. Houston has said they need flank help, which means, you know, they're not all that confident in Dixon and Ownby to provide it. So they're both trying to prove everybody wrong in this preseason. In the middle of the field, broken up by Boswell as Romero tried to combine, and the foul goes against Colorado. We saw Nathan Sturgis in the middle there for Colorado trying to combine. It was with Houston last year.
And the man Giles Barnes back there helping out defensively. That'll put a smile on the faces of Houston fans.
That one cleared by Griffiths, who's matched up here with Ching. Kind of an interesting contrast in styles there. Okay, that cracked me up because Ching went to kind of fake throwing it in and wait for the outside back to come, and Nealis thought he should make the run around him at full speed. Throws into Javon Watson, holding off a couple guys. Back to Nealis. Keeps it on his left foot, back to Anthony Arena. Boswell drives it on the right side. It's headed away. And the foul will go in Colorado's favor for a Rapids free kick.
That's good from Dylan Powers right there, being on the spot to pick up the second ball. Something he'll have to do if he's going to win a starting role in Oscar Pareja's three-man midfield. I think that was a big question, or it still is the big question about Powers in his rookie season. Will he provide enough bite defensively to justify the amount of minutes that you expect out of a first-round pick?
Chris Clute is into the game on the left-hand side for Colorado. I don't know if that was a departure from the scheduled second-half lineup.
Anthony Wallace had a little knock a couple of minutes ago. Looks like he decided
they snuck him out of the game without our noticing. Our apologies. Chris Clute in at left back for Wallace. Again, we told you there were three guys battling at left back for the Rapids, so now we're going to get to see all three of them.
And with Anthony Wallace, even with the littlest knock, it's probably better safe than sorry to take him out and give him time.
Barnes trying to float one through for Watson, but the timing and the angles were not on target. See a little Portland brain trust in the corner taking this one in. Little corner of green off to our right.
ABS. Always be scouting.
I've heard ABS used for a lot of things. I don't know that I've ever heard it used for that one. Given away right to Camargo. Gets it back from Ching. Tried to feed Weaver and is broken up well by Shane O'Neill in the middle of that Rapids defense. Saw Serna get a touch there. We haven't seen him get real involved. He's a guy kind of seems to be without a real defined position. Somewhere attacking seems to be the general disposition for Dylan Serna.
Yeah, he hasn't been convincing anywhere as of yet tonight or on Tuesday. Very one-footed, which is something that he'll need to work on.
Clute and Ownby battling there. Chris Clute came away the better of that situation. Joined the Rapids late last year from the Atlanta Silverbacks and just gotten one game at the end of the year. Here's a long ball for Serna, too far. And it carries to Marscheider, the teenager from Colorado, playing against his home state team.
And you saw the Houston back line caught a little flat right there. Sarkodie and Boswell communicating, trying to work those early season kinks out.
Ching with his back to goal. Ownby, Weaver battling with Griffiths. And Ownby will settle it down for Houston. Weaver battling with O'Neill yet again, and Griffiths able to clear it away. Ownby certainly gets physical on that far side.
He does a surprising strength from Serna as well right there. He wasn't knocked off the ball very easily, especially for a little guy.
'66th minute here, Houston leading. The goal came 1 minute into the game from Callum Elliott, who has since gone off, as just about everybody has. I think Luis Camargo, the only remaining starter in the game for either team. Barnes tried to play this free kick, and it was blocked by the Rapids wall there by Serna, and it'll be a throw into Houston. Both these teams back in action on Saturday. Houston taking on Vancouver in the night game, and earlier that day, Colorado taking on the San Jose Earthquakes. I don't know what kind of San Jose lineup we're going to see. It was a bunch of non-roster guys on Tuesday. They've got so many injuries there.
There's a bunch of no-name wonders, but they did take a 2-0 win from the Dynamo. Trialist Alexander Emerson.
Which of his four names are you going to use?
Alexander Emerson.
He went by two different names in Mexico, and he's gone by Alexandra Emerson here. Rapids trying to play out of the back. Powers, LaBraca. Here's Martinez on the right-hand side. Early ball looking for Romero. Top of the box. Fires. Just missed it wide. Cesar Romero. And they're going to say it. Marscheider got a touch to it, and it's out for a corner kick.
Anthony Arena being brought to school by Bobby Boswell right now. Again, the back line caught flat. But it was a really nice touch out of central midfield by Nick LaBraca to set that entire play up.
He was your pick to kind of fill that linking midfield role for the Rapids. Nathan Sturgis, who can provide very good service, takes the corner. Little below par for him on that one, headed away by Nealis.
It has not been a night for good service on set pieces, has it?
By and large, no. Mullen with the ball and Weaver on him. Now Serna on the near side, just in front of us. O'Neill in the attacking half. Stepping up, Boswell reads it easily and gets it away to Ching for Houston. Only has Weaver. Waits for the help of Javon Watson. Watson to Giles Barnes in the corner. Mullen chasing him. The slide tackle knocked out of bounds, and the call goes to the Rapids for a goal kick. Barnes is walking to the corner with a soccer ball and is incredulous at the decision. I don't know if he was trying the vet move, like I'm just going to walk to the corner and not even look at the ref and he'll go with me, or if he really thought it was set to be a corner kick.
I think it was a 50-50 call.
They're still discussing it, all three of them, Mullen, Barnes, and our referee.
I think Mullen was just hiding a smile behind his arm right there.
Watson battling with LaBraca. The ball falls to Nathan Sturgis for Colorado. Martinez over on the left right now. Serna on the right-hand side in front of us. Romero in the middle of the field has Serna outside, trying to stay onside. Shot is blocked by Arena. Mullen overlapping on the right. Chance for a cross. Going back post. Headed away by Sarkoti. Falls to Sturgis. Rifles it wide from distance, and again a deflection. And it'll be another corner for Colorado.
And that's what you want to see from Brian Mullen at right back, the ability to push up, get into the attack, and put in a cross like that. He's made a living doing that from right midfield. No reason to think he can't do it from a deeper position.
Nathan Sturgis to deliver again from the left corner. 7 in the box for Colorado. Headed down by Watson. LaBraca got it back to Sturgis. Chip toward the penalty spot. Headed away by Weaver with Griffiths. Couple of towers there. Neat moves by Sturgis to find Martinez left side of the box. Plays it across. Deflected. Serna kept it alive. This is Mullen with Barnes on it. Barnes knocks it out. There's some of that defensive work rate Houston was looking to see from him.
Yeah, if Giles Barnes stays healthy this year, he's going to have a big year. I'm calling it right here, Yards.
If you had a fantasy team, you would pick him?
If I had a fantasy team, I would pick Giles Barnes.
MLS Fantasy Game unveiled today. Go to fantasy.mlssoccer.com.
You want to take the moment to brag?
I will not. Still a month away, so I don't know if you quite want to pick your roster yet, but you can sign up and make some moves. And the season, of course, kicks off with the MLS season March 2nd.
I will do the bragging for you. I'm standing next to the Extra Time Fantasy League Experts League champion. I mangled the name, but Yardley is the champion.
I did beat Sagini in the final.
There you go.
I should have been playing Ivis Galarsif in the final, so Ivis, if he's watching, was wrongly denied a spot in the final by a twist in the seedings formula. But I feel confident that if I had played Ivis, I could have found a way to win that anyway.
Well, it wouldn't be MLS if there wasn't some playoff
there wasn't
seeding
some controversy.
Sagini does have home field advantage with that game after all.
Sagini does run the system. No. Romero, right side of the area, going to get a shot off again, and Marscheider holds it at the near post for Houston. First save, I think, of the night. Again, there was one that was deflected out for a corner that it didn't appear to go off the Houston goalkeeper. 72nd minute, Houston 1, Colorado nothing. Desert Friendlies from Tucson, Arizona, where it is warmer than it was on Tuesday. Nealis floating forward for Weaver. Shane O'Neill at the back for Colorado. Now Griffiths. Looking for Serna. Seems kind of more comfortable on that right-hand side, moving in with the left foot.
He does. You can see he wants to get into the middle and combine and play to feet.
And LaBraca continuously looking really comfortable, moving the ball with one touch in the midfield, or two touches there. Javon Watson using his arms to play defense. Sturgis with a quick step finds Serna inside. His pass picked off by Boswell just ahead of Romero. And the Dynamo move it out with some quick feet. Barnes, Camargo, and Watson. All kind of luxury players.
Yeah, very calm playing it out of the back as well.
And that's where you and I have talked about, you feel like Houston maybe has more depth at that position, technical midfielder, than many teams. And some of that's because they get extra money for qualifying for the Champions League, not only for this year's quarterfinals, where they'll face Santos Laguna next month or in March, but also for next year's group stage. helps you a little bit to keep the roster together.
And this is something that Houston has talked about, continuity, making sure that you get a core of guys and you keep them, 14, 16 players every year, so you learn how to play together.
Colorado is trying to build that. Second year under Oscar Pareja. They weren't happy to miss the playoffs last year, but it was new coach, new system, and I think they're still trying to find the right personnel for it. We saw a lot of offloading in the offseason. Connor Casey, Omar Cummings, just to name the most obvious frontrunners. So it'll be interesting to see what year 2 of the Oscar Pareja regime is going to look like.
Right, and you remember, 4-3-3 isn't built in a day. It took Peter Vermees a good long while in Kansas City to put together the roster that he wanted. So asking fans to be patient, not always the easiest thing.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I thought the MLS Cup victory was a bit of a mirage for Colorado based on how limited their regular season was, and that was one reason why it wasn't that difficult a decision to kind of rebuild the team, so to speak.
Right. Well, especially, with Cummings and Casey both hitting 30 on the other side of it for Connor Casey. I think that that window had closed.
LaPraca getting a bit of payback on Javon Watson in the I play defense with my hands, and it'll be a free kick to Houston. I mean, Arena hasn't been tested that much at center back, but I've liked what I've seen tonight. This is my first look at him. Houston looking for a 4th center back. You mentioned he doesn't have the height that Houston usually has in a center back, but soccer sense seems good.
He does. He did get caught square that one time, which again earned him the ire of Bobby Boswell.
As it tends to do.
Right. But if he keeps his ears open and he listens to his veterans like Boswell, Jermaine Taylor, I think Rico Clark will probably have words with him as well.
If he can understand Jermaine Taylor, I give him a lot of credit.
Then he'll be in the mix for that spot.
Dylan Powers and Bobby Boswell were jostling for that one. Boswell won it. And O'Neill heads back to Clint Irwin in goal. Out of Elon, played last year with the Charlotte Eagles. He's battling Jimmy Maurer for the 3rd goalkeeping spot. They let Ian Joyce go. Nealis with a good header there for Houston. Javon Watson, great bit of skill, but Weaver couldn't return the ball to him, and Powers goes the other way for Colorado. Here's Romero. Running at Arena, getting help from Nealis. They bring it backward, and Marscheider does well to corral it and avoid a corner kick.
I think Romero decided about 40 yards from goal that he was not going to pass that ball.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Again, Marscheider getting a rep here with Tyler Derrick with a left wrist sprain that'll still needs to be further evaluated for Houston. A little bit of a worry with their number 2 goalkeeper who got them through the Champions League last year, but still Tally Hall at the number 1 spot. And he played the first 60 minutes. For Colorado, we saw Matt Pickens on Tuesday. So we see Seus and Irwin today.
And Matt Pickens had the best view for the debut of Diego Valeri with that golazo, direct off a free kick.
That is not the sort of highlight goalkeepers like to see in the preseason. Camargo in the midfield. I think fitness is the issue of the day for Camargo if they're trying to send him the full 90.
Message sent, I think.
Well, maybe a numbers game as well. Houston not rolling in extra bodies with Brad Davis and Will Bruin being given the week off after national team camp.
And Ricardo Clark as well, taken off the
Banged up.
field on Tuesday. At this point in the preseason, probably better to give him a couple extra days rest.
Ash and Cummings are still back in Houston, of course, with Kalen Carr, who's out for a little bit longer term.
I'm excited for the Omar Cummings-Will Bruin pairing.
Yes.
I just think it makes a lot of sense. You could see how those guys would be able to play off each other very well.
I think Cummings is more comfortable in a 4-4-2 than he was in Pareja's 4-3-3, and that's one of the reasons he's moved. Barnes' delivery back post. Weaver header just wide at the back post. And it'll be a goal kick for Colorado, but delivery from Barnes stepped it up a notch.
That was on the money right there. I think Weaver could have had one. Maybe kicking himself a little bit.
So 10 minutes plus remaining here. Or 11 minutes plus remaining here. Houston still leads 1-0 on that early goal, but all these second half guys are still trying to make their imprint on the day. Here's Serna.
You're right. He definitely looks more comfortable cutting in from the right side and getting the ball onto his left foot.
Well, or he wants to be a central player. He's more comfortable playing in the middle, which is entirely possible, as Brian Ownby gets whistled for tugging the jersey yet again, which kind of seems to be his defensive thing.
It's legal if you get away with it.
Bad pass picked off by Ching. His pass, in turn, was caught between Barnes and Camargo. They feed Serna, breaking through at the back. Serna fires and tipped wide by Marscheider from the top of the box. One of the best chances of the game for Colorado is denied.
And that's right there is why you want him cutting in, so that he could cut inside, get the ball on his left foot, which really is his only foot, and have it go directly at goal.
Big save by Eric Marscheider, the young goalkeeper. Serna ripped that with his more confident left. And now Serna's going to take the corner. In swinger, going back post, clear header over the top. Nathan Sturgis at the back post had a chance to tie it up and couldn't hit the target.
Jason Sagini has registered his discontent on Twitter.
With what? Oh, he's still angry about the penalty kick that that could have decided our championship fantasy game.
Robbie Keane had to ruin the moment.
I'll admit I was a little worried when I saw that penalty. Javon Watson, left-hand side of the area, cutting to his left foot and rifles it wide of the scoreboard. I wasn't looking to see if it was wide of the goal. I was looking to see if it was wide of the scoreboard. There was a lot more suspense in that question.
Just preseason, folks.
It's been a fun one tonight. We've seen some of the scoring chances. We had the breakaway. Stu Seus making a big save. Marscheider making the save here.
Confident play from some young players as well. I've liked Dylan Powers other than that one loose pass. Cassio and Craval, of course, going at it. And, of course, Jason Johnson.
Yeah, had one of his better outings, I would say. I've never seen him play before, so I can't really say that. But from what I hear of his other outings, that was better. Bad foul here as Sarkodie was plowed under.
Chris Clute went right through him.
And Chris Clute being admonished with a yellow card here. And yet another free kick for Houston. Everyone likes to say it's part of their strategy. I don't know that they've been trying to get them. They just have been today.
They've certainly done their fair share drawing some fouls.
Barnes stands over it again. Again, Songo took them when he was in the game, kind of giving a trialist an opportunity to show. But we know Giles Barnes can deliver some of these. Waiting for the referee's whistle now as he attends to some of the pushing and shoving. Now Barnes will deliver. Runs all the way through the box. They were targeting Boswell. Watson in the corner, and it's knocked out of bounds for a throw-in to Colorado. Good pressure by Romero for the Rapids.
And another solid delivery from Barnes right there as well. He should enjoy him while he has the chance, because Brad Davis will be back next week.
The Dynamo are hoping Brad Davis gets a Gold Cup call-up and therefore would miss a game or two in the middle of the year. So there might be some free kicks to be taken then. Seven and a half to go here. Houston 1, Colorado nothing. And
O'Neill's been a lot more confident in central defense today than he was on Tuesday, which would be good for U.S. fans. Of course, it's been a pretty rough run for U.S. Youth teams, the U20s and U23s last year, both failing to qualify for the tournament. Defensive letdowns have been a key theme.
We got a substitution there, and Quincy America's wish has been answered. Andre Akpan in the game, Walter Martinez out, 83rd minute. So Akpan up there as part of the forward line for the Rapids. Mullen on the right-hand side feeds LaBraca. Javon Watson defending. LaBraca back to Mullen. Didn't set him up to cross. Mullen Got a step on Nealis there, stays with him, but Mullen cross deflected, and Nealis, be helpful if I could say that right, heads it out for a throw-in.
Yeah, good recovery from the rookie.
Preseason form for broadcasters, too. Serna on that left, plays it in, headed away by Arena, right to Ching. Left it for Barnes under some pressure in his own half. Gets away with it back to Marscheider. Floats it up for Ownby, who does well to head it despite getting clattered into, and it'll be a free kick to Houston, and Ownby not looking good for the moment, and this does give Theron Enns a chance to run onto the field. He told me I probably wouldn't need to call his name, and certainly the Dynamo's trainer would rather I didn't, but he's out there with a look at Brian Ownby right now.
Yeah, Ownby went down right away, clutching his head. Maybe took a forearm from Romero on that ball. It's tough to tell from this angle.
Appreciate everybody following us on Twitter tonight and tweeting in their comments. I'm getting a kick out of several of them, most of them from Jason Sagini.
Sagini left the better part of his salary at the Desert Diamond Casino.
I am not touching that one, but with a reminder, upcoming telecasts on MLSsoccer.com tomorrow night, Portland and Kansas City, same time, same place, same dulcet tones, same Twitter addresses and what have you. Saturday morning, we'll have a doubleheader, day-night doubleheader. Colorado, San Jose in the morning, Houston, Vancouver at night. That's right, we're international. And Portland, Seattle, Tuesday morning, our final matchup. And there is a slight time change. I think the kickoff time for that Tuesday game, I don't know if it's 100% final, but it's been moved up half an hour from 11 a.m. Mountain Time to 10:30 Mountain Time. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So I'll let you do the math on what time that is, but I believe that's 9:30 Pacific, which is where most of our audience will be on Tuesday. So Ownby still on the side. Dynamo playing with 10 at the moment. Long ball by Akpan for Labraca. Serna with Arena on him, and Arena slides and knocks it out of bounds. Throw-in goes backward to Mullen. Akpan calling for it. Ownby back into the game. Cross goes far post, headed away by Sarkoti. Romero won it to Powers in the midfield. Good job to keep it alive, but Sarkoti ends up on it for Houston. Plays it upfield, trying to find any outlet right now. Is Colorado really pushing forward here? A lot of times in preseason you see the games play out not without much mindset of the score, but it really seems like Colorado does have that extra little push right here to try and get the goal. Nealis under pressure here as Camargo put it to his off foot, and it'll be a throw-in to Colorado in the attacking half. We're under 4 minutes to play here. We might get a little bit of stoppage time after the injury to Ownby. Mullen throws into Labraca, right back to him. Top of the box, Akpan let it go. Shot coming right at Eric Marscheider from distance. Romero very active, not hesitant to pull the trigger from distance, but pretty easy for Marscheider.
Very clever little layoff from Akpan right there. Put right into the stride for Romero. I think he meant it.
I wasn't entirely sure if he meant it. I was going to give you a sideways look. He looked a little worried as the ball came off his foot and then seemed relieved that it went right to Romero. This one up the middle, and Marscheider dives and collects it. He and Sarkoti were kind of discussing, shall we say, on the play who should come out for it, or who should come up with it. Watson with a neat dummy. Ching eventually read it, and it's knocked out of bounds by Griffiths.
Hard to believe that this time last year we were talking about Brian Ching of the Montreal Impact.
It was never going to last. 88th minute here. Watson obstructed and gets called for the foul for running through Brenton Griffiths. I don't know that I've been impressed or disappointed with Griffiths. He's kind of been about what I expected in this second half.
Yeah, you can see he's a handful with direct play. Haven't seen a lot of combination play going at him. That's usually where young defenders struggle. But as we said, has the physical tools.
Good touch by Powers there to find Sturgis, who returns the favor. They switch it to Clute on the left. Right-footed cross in. He's got two in the box. It's deflected, and Serna was offside. The flag goes up. I think Sturgis was on, but Serna was off. And when it caromed to Dylan Serna, the flag went up.
And that was a little lack of awareness from Jimmy Nealis right there. He was tracking Serna, played him offside, didn't see LaBrocca on the other side of him, kept him on after Boswell and Sarkozy had stepped. Little work for the film room.
Yeah, and you talk, you're playing two rookies on the left side of the back line and Boswell and Sarkozy on the right, so the communication gap is what preseason is for, certainly. Ownby back in the game and moving at a fast clip with LaBrocca on him at the moment. Here is Boswell at the back. Upfield looking for Weaver's deflected. Colorado trying to counter. Dylan Powers with space up the middle. Camargo trying to catch him. Powers feeds Akpan, turning. Chipping, it's blocked by Sarkozy. Rapids wanted a hand, not coming. And Barnes plays out of trouble to Watson. Watson left side and gets contact from Brian Mullen, and the foul call does go against Mullen, who, as you may notice, is not shy about voicing his disagreement.
Little flying shoulder tackle with that one right there.
That's kind of the classic Brian Mullen image in your head, is him screaming at an official while wearing 5 championship rings. Stoppage time now. Don't know that we have a fourth official to signal how much of it there will be, so there's none. Full time here in Tucson. Houston 1 and Colorado nothing. The goal came 60 seconds into the match, and Houston made it stand up. We had some chances, good saves at both ends to keep it that way. And Houston recovers from the 2-0 defeat on Tuesday. Not that they put a whole lot of stock in the preseason result, to win 1-0 this evening. Matt Doyle, armchair analyst, we're standing up because it's cold, but your take on a couple players on each side that you kind of learned something about tonight.
Well, I liked what I saw for the most part out of Anthony Arena. He did, as we mentioned, get caught square that one time, but he looked very calm, very assured playing out of the back, which is a part of what Dom Kinnear is trying to build for the Dynamo. They want to keep the ball better. Again, Giles Barnes, I love this player. I think he's going to be huge this year. Didn't really see too much from guys like Alex Dixon. Brian Ownby didn't have too much of an effect on the game. Those guys they're playing for a roster spot right now, and they need to start getting it in gear for the Dynamo. For the Rapids, Corey Kindle, I thought, was solid in 1-versus-1 defense in the first half. Got down the line very well. Tony Cassio, of course, he's a guy.
Active, always active.
I think he's going to have a breakout year. And Nick LaBrocca, I think Rapids fans can probably rest easy. Of course, you'd rather have Martin Rivero back, but LaBrocca has played that spot at a high level before. He's very active, very clever tonight. He can make that last pass that unlocks a defense. And Dylan Powers, we should mention as well. Just an assured performance from the rookie.
Interesting night here. We're going to take a look back at the only goal of the game. It came 60 minutes in. And for Houston, Jason Johnson, the rookie, up the middle, finding a seam for Callum Elliott, the trialist, who blasted one into the top corner. And that was the key play, the difference maker in this game. Houston ends up on top 1-0. That's going to do it for us tonight from Tucson. For our entire crew and my partner, Matt Doyle, I'm Jonathan Yardley. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back same time tomorrow night. Portland and Kansas City. We'll talk to you then. Until tomorrow, from Tucson, good night. Houston 1, Colorado 0, the final.